Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today I want to do a little review of a little device, which is the Reveni Labs Lightmeter. If you missed it, it was a Kickstarter campaign that was successful. He got around 7 times what he asked for, and what the main specs of this light meter is that it's really small. So what are the specs and how big is it? It's so big that I have it in my pocket and you barely could notice. So this little cube is the Reveni Lightmeter app, or Lightmeter, not app. And it's super simple, super small, weighs 9 grams, and it's a reflective light meter. This goes on your cold shoe, hot shoe of your camera, and it's actually really convenient. For those who might have an old camera that doesn't have a built-in meter, or maybe uses one of those mercury batteries that are no longer made or made in Russia by the army, and you shouldn't be using them because mercury and earth. You can get one of these, or before that you could get like a Leica MC meter, which also use selenium, and they die and then you don't know and you can't meter properly. Or you could get the Voigtlander VC meter. So the Voigtlander VC meter is at $225 US. This little light meter sells for $125 Canadian. That converts to around, I think, $100 US, or even less than that in euros, so around 80 euros. So yeah, small light meter, but what does it do that can help you with your camera? So basically, it meters in f-stops, it has aperture priority or shutter priority, it gives you EV stops every time. You can activate it, deactivate it. It's sensitive from like 1 EV to or 1 ISO 1, sorry, to 12,800 ISO, and you can do that all through the menu. This little light meter doesn't have an internal battery that you have to charge like others that you see on eBay, and it's made in Canada. It's made by a 3D printing system that's not the traditional 3D printer that just keeps on adding a little layer. It's done with a specific 3D system that's actually pretty cool. It gives you this sort of rugged feel to it. It's black. It does have different tones depending on, I guess, what material they use, but it's mostly all black. And it's all built in. It has a LR44 battery inside, which you don't want to use without the little battery holder, because then it gets stuck in there. And I did that because when I got it, mine had a little bug. So I'll let you know. As this is a beta unit, what happens is if the light was too low, the battery would not, the light meter would not power on. So when I would turn it on, it would just matrix lights, you could see the little lights coming down. And I kept on thinking my battery was dead. And I was using it against the VC meter from Voigtlander, and I was getting good metering with that. I used my LR44 from my Mamiya RZ, which is over there. And it worked fine on the Mamiya, but it wouldn't work on this. Till Matt told me that it had a little bug. This bug is gone, and what basically happened is that if it was super low light, it would not turn on. So when it turns on, you can meter from f0.7. So if you have one of those cinematography lenses from Kubrick, you can meter with that. Or it can even meter up to f1024 if you're doing pinhole photography or anything like that. And it's super convenient. This fits on almost every single hot shoe, cold shoe we have there. Of course, not all hot shoes or cold shoes were made the same. So sometimes it's a little hard to go in, and sometimes it's a little too loose when you pull it in. It's not too hard to change. You can put a little bit of cardboard or something. And if it's hard to put in, maybe you don't want to use it and find something else. That's the only issue I found with it, apart from the buttons being pretty small. And if you have big fingers or you're wearing gloves, it's hard because the buttons are extremely small. But do bear in mind that this thing is minuscule. I've been shooting with it on a number of different cameras, comparing it to different light meters, to my VC meter, and actually they pretty much nail exposure every single time. This matches my Rolleiflex 6008, which is back there. It matches my Sekonic 308. And usually the biggest concern I have when I'm trying to match this light meter to others is that this light meter has a 60-degree angle, and sometimes maybe the camera's too close. And for that, Matt has made the inside a little darker, so it won't have so much reflections from shiny lenses or shiny cameras come into the meter. Another thing that I know that you can't do with this light meter is the fact that this light meter is not waterproof or splash proof, because of course the electronics are pretty much exposed in there, and dust and such are not the best idea. So a slight little drain, maybe probably you'll be fine. Good thing about this light meter is you can probably just put a little bit of gaffer tape or tape over it and keep on shooting, because it doesn't have that much to it. The screen on the back is OLED. It's easy to see. Once you try to hit metering, it gives you an f-stop and shutter speed, and it has a little arrow to show you if you're in aperture priority or shutter priority. You can choose if the display goes off after 5 seconds or 15 seconds. You can choose the ISO that you want, and I think it's like ISO step by step. So basically you can go all the way from ISO 1, like I said, to 12,800, depending on what film you're using. So yeah, it's ISO 200, 250, 320, 800, 1600, ISO 3000. So for example, you can't choose ISO 1000, which is something a lot of people shoot. But you know, you can do a pretty good estimation with that. So yeah, ISO 1, 3, 6, 12, 25, 32, 50, 80, no ISO 64, which also was a very common ISO. ISO 100, ISO 125, 160, 200. So yeah, you have most of your ISOs there. And then you can have aperture priority, shutter priority, or again, shutter priority. So we choose that. Compensation, you can compensate it by 1/3, so 0.33, 0.66, and so on. You can have the EV in display or off display, which I find EVs to be kind of complicated to understand if you're not used to them. And of course, if you're shooting a Hasselblad, you have the EV little scale on the side, which makes it extremely easy. But I kind of find it annoying that every time I would meter, the EV value came first. It does have EV values of 0.1 scale, so from EV 10, 10.1, 10.2, so on. And let me see, I'm going to keep on checking the menu for you guys. EV disabled, enabled. Then we have timeout for it to turn off. And basically that's all there is to this light meter. It does come with some accessories which are pretty fun. Some are awesome, some look like a joke, which Matt has confirmed that it was a bit of a joke. You have, for example, a 90-degree angle, so you can have it on your camera not pointing sideways but pointing normal, just like landscape. It has one that's double hot shoe or cold shoe, so for those people that want to have an external viewfinder plus the Reveni light meter, you can have it. It comes with a ring, which that's a bit of the joke, that you can have it on your ring and you can meter. And it has a little watch wristband too. Honestly, I thought the ring one was a bit of a joke, but today I went out with a Nikon F3 out and it doesn't really have a cold shoe or hot shoe. So this would be great to have it on a watch kind of strap or a ring strap, because you can meter. The F3 does have a good internal meter, but just in case you're one of those that is shooting something without a hot shoe and you can't attach it anyway, this is really fun way to carry it on your ring. Apart from that, it has a little hole for a lanyard, so you can hang it from your camera, wrist, tripod, whatever. And actually at the price it comes and the size it is, it really doesn't have a big impact on, for example, small bodies like the Olympus Pen F, Leica cameras like a CL, Nikon, Hasselblads, whatever. One thing is the same thing. On a Hasselblad, you can't really mount it on the side unless you have the accessory rail mount for a cold shoe. I told Matt to probably see if he can print one, because that would be much nicer and probably much cheaper than the official Hasselblad mounts. So yeah, I'm going to show a roll that I exposed with this light meter on my Rolleiflex 6008. And yeah, I have to say, not being a final product, but being a testing product, I really liked it. I think for 80 euros or dollars, I'm guesstimating the price. I think it's 125 Canadian right now on pre-order. I think it's a pretty convenient little device. Of course, if you already have a Sekonic light meter or you have Gaussian light meter, Minolta light meter, maybe you don't want to add it, but you want something real small, real lightweight to carry around in case you forget your light meter, or you just want something, you know, that doesn't go in the back pocket or in your backpack. You can have this and it works pretty nice. As I told you, it really matches pretty much every light meter. I think when I've had differences has been more of the fact that the scene had more contrast at what the angle of the different light meters I was using. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it always matches sunny 16 so far, which has been really sunny where I'm at. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little review of this tiny, tiny light meter. I can put it back in my pocket. And this is still in pre-order, so make sure you want to check it out. And there'll be more reviews coming through. And I'll probably get myself the proper unit when it's out, and I'll give you my proper impressions when I've done a lot more shots. But so far, I really like it. Another thing that's good about these small projects is that Matt is really approachable, really good at answering, really good at implementing changes that people request. So it's nice. It's nice to have that one-on-one kind of relationship with a maker in the film world. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks Matt for sending this. It's not sponsored. He just sent it to me to make testing and helping him out. And yeah, see you in the next one, guys. Bye.